Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I wanted to give a homeschool update now that we're nearly halfway through the year. If you guys have been following my channel for a while or watching my videos, you probably would have seen the schedule that I had made for ourselves. I mean, it was a loose schedule, but our plans for the year and schedule and some of the curriculum that I plan to be using, and how I kind of want to approach that. So I want to provide an update and let you guys know how that's going. And first off, I'll say it's not going at all. Pretty much everything I wrote down and planned for this year and how that I envisioned us doing it and completing subjects didn't happen at all. But I will say that I'm not too disappointed, and I'm not super frustrated with that or anything. Everything seems to be working out the way it needs to, despite not following any sort of plans. So that's the main update, is we're not really following any plans. We've sort of created a routine that fluctuates actually day to day. So I don't know, it's still a routine, but it fluctuates so much that I definitely wouldn't call it anywhere close to a schedule. But to update you on a few things, let's see, I gathered some things that I wanted to talk about with you guys. The first thing is Draw the USA. We did this very early on. We did this a few months ago, and we haven't picked it up since, but I will say that it was a very valuable resource, and I did this with my 10-year-old, and she really enjoyed doing this. I think it took us about 2 weeks just working on it every now and again. And the completed thing was this, which is a beautiful map of the United States, which she watercolored, and she really enjoyed doing that. And I mean, two thumbs up all around for that as part of our geography. We also covered some state geography, and we did a watercolor painting of that. I did as well, and then a little bit of state history. And then since then, we haven't been doing too much geography other than playing our geography game. Let's see. Some other things we did. We did a Build Your Library Harry Potter unit, and my daughter, my 10-year-old, again, she made a little booklet of magical devices and tools. Like, here's the invisibility cloak, and then she just wrote down, let's see, a gift that Harry Potter receives from Professor Dumbledore. It makes him invisible. So just like what it was, how it came to be in the book, and what it was used for. So that was fun to put together. And then to go with that, she made a glossary of magic words. And for this, we looked at the Latin roots of the words and then puzzled out, why maybe these specific words were used. Okay, here's our first fail for the year, which I hate to term it that way. And that has been building foundations of scientific understanding. I was so excited to get this book, and I don't know what it is, but every time I've gone to pick it up and put together a science activity, I've just balked. Like, I just don't want to do it at all. So it's not the kids that have really been resistant to doing this. It's me. Like, it just, for some reason, just picking this up and trying to plan to do an activity, I'm just like, ugh, I don't want to. I don't want to. And so I haven't. I don't think that I can teach my kids a love of something if the whole time we're doing the activity I'm like, oh, come on, let's just get it done. I don't want to do it. So I feel like I would transfer my feelings onto the activity. So I keep putting it away and being like, oh, let's do something else. Now, to go along with that, we are still getting science done. And what we're doing right now is some astronomy and some space study. So we've been using this for Space Encyclopedia, and then I also got books from the library. Let me get something really quick. So we are in the process of making a whole solar system, which is an activity I always wanted to do, and I never did as part of my public school education. So again, instead of using this curriculum over here, we just kind of chose a theme, or I chose it because I was excited about it. I was excited to learn it, and they seem to pick up on that when I've been excited about things, and that seems to be working so far. So I just look for inspiration and then just go with it, and that seems to help them want to do it more when they see that I'm excited about it. So I was excited to make these paper mache planets and have them paint them and do a science project with them, which we're not done with yet. But we've been doing a lot of art this year, again, because I've been following my passion. And I can't help but think that that maybe is the direction I need to move in more, is follow what makes me excited. And then, you know, they can't help but get a little excited when they see me so excited about something. Whereas when we would try to do this, I was not excited to do it. And I feel like a lot of my feelings got transferred onto this, and made it less exciting for them. So because I love art and activities, I've been trying to incorporate that a whole lot more into this year, especially art and science. Two subjects that you don't really think go together that much, but they've been going together beautifully. To go along with that, art and history. We did a small study on Frida Kahlo, and while they were painting, I had them paint portraits of Frida Kahlo, which they were so excited about because I bought them real canvas and let them use my acrylic paints. So that was really exciting. And while they were doing that, I was reading from a Frida Kahlo book, and I was discussing Mexican culture and history, and we talked about Frida Kahlo's political beliefs at the time. We discussed the type of art that she did, and her life and what she went through. And then to go on top of that, we listened to traditional Mexican music while we were discussing and reading these things. And it was a beautiful day of learning, and we were all excited about it. And that was sort of the turning point that made me pursue things that I'm interested in or that I get excited about, like projects that I would love to do. And then they pick that up and are excited to do it as well. So that's how I've been approaching this year with our projects. We've done probably a record number of projects this year versus years past, because they really seem to enjoy it. And we've been finding ones that we're all excited about versus ones that I keep putting off because I just don't want to do them. So that seems to be working so far. Now, we've had some issues with math. As I've mentioned many times before, we use Right Start. And this is my 7-year-old's Right Start book. And she's actually enjoying this a whole lot. But my 10-year-old has sort of balked at math. So I've been trying to search for things to make it more fun for her again. And something new that I found that she has been enjoying and seems to be getting her back on track with enjoying the process of math is this Horse Lovers Math Level 1, which, looking it up online, Level 1 is for, I think it's geared towards grades 4, 5, and 6. So it has multiple subjects in here, but it's all centered around horses and how math is applicable to horses and their care, and kind of has helped show her that, you know, it's important to know how to do math in order to do things you love. And it makes it more relevant. You know, when you have to calculate a horse's weight and height, and how much they need to be fed, medications that they need to be given, it all requires math and critical thinking that way. So this has worked out pretty well. Let me know if you would like to get a more in-depth flip through of that book. I'm just trying to keep this video on the shorter side. But if you would want to know more about the math that we've been using, I'll do a separate video on that Horse Lovers Math. Just let me know in the comments. Let's see, we're still doing copy work, just less of it. Only choosing passages that make me excited. Again, I've kind of flipped this around onto myself lately, but it seems to be working. But we still do some copy work, and we recite it and memorize it, and we have fun acting it out this year versus just writing it down and getting it done. So when they see me like really get into a passage from a book, and I'm reciting it and acting it out, they want to take part in that too. And that's how we've kind of been doing our copy work most of the time. Let's see. The only thing I have left to update on is history. I think I updated that, or I think that I said in a previous video that we do Story of the World, but we've been listening to it on CD. But lately, I don't want to listen to it in the car. And I don't know, the kids they seem whatever, about listening to it. So we've just been listening to science podcasts and history podcasts instead. Every once in a while, I'll read a little chapter out of this, the Middle Ages book, but we've kind of ditched history or doing history in a linear way and have sort of been jumping around more than doing it like ancients, then Middle Ages, and so and so and so and so. We've just been checking out books from the library and then just discussing the time period that that's in. It seems to be working. And then the last thing I want to update on is I did buy a whole box set, which my camera is resting on right now, so I can't show you the box, of horrible histories. And this is just part of my 10-year-old's assignments. When there's a quiet time during the day, I do require that she read some, there's no set amount, of her history books that I bought. And of course my 7-year-old is welcome to as well. And she just reads some of that, and we listen to podcasts, we read books, and yeah, or history's just kind of taken on its own shape and is going in all different directions and stretching and contracting and not in a linear timeline at all. We still recite some poetry nearly every day, and tons more stories that we read aloud together, instead of like just one read aloud a day. So yeah, that's my update. It's kind of all over the place because that's how our schooling has been, is just been all over the place lately. But that's what we've been doing. If you guys have any thoughts on that, or want to see a separate video on anything that I mentioned, or want to know more about it, just leave that in the comment and I'll read them and get around to that. And also, if you have any suggestions, or if you have been schooling in a similar way, like thrown everything out the window and just kind of see where the day takes you type of way, I would love to hear about it, because it's scary territory and it's new for me, but somehow it's all working. So we're just gonna kind of keep trying to do it. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I'll see you all again really soon.